Good morning and welcome to Perspectives. My name is Mugure. Hashtag KTN Life and Style, tweet us, even just say good morning, say hi. Anyways, today we are talking about the cry of the boy child. Boy child, munalia nini? What are you guys crying about? Huh? As a female, I feel like you guys are crying too much for no reason. But anyways, I'm kidding. Do let us know how you feel about this topic. The boy child, are they being left behind now that the women are sort of taking over? Are they? Who knows? Anyways, I'm joined by a lovely panel who will be discussing with this lovely topic today, and they can introduce themselves, starting from my left.
My name is Rita Mudeu, co-founder Her Voice. I'm a human rights gender activist.
My name is Mary Washeke. I am a business executive and life coach, a diversity, equality and inclusion expert. I also facilitate unconscious bias and cultural intelligence.
Hello, my name is Reina Datela, the Lion of Africa. Now, I'm a motivational speaker and author of a couple of books, and I also talk to men in a show known as Men Talk Africa. Thank you guys for inviting me here.
Good morning. Happy to be here. My name is Elseba Koke, famously known as Sebi Cox. I know most of you know that. I am a communication and PR professional, a background of international relations, and I do a lot of brand influencing. I am a marketer and advertiser.
So today we're talking about the cry of the boy child. Do you think the boy child has been left behind and forgotten?
Let me start by saying, as an activist, it's good not to be tone deaf. At the moment, the cry out there is the boy child has been left behind.
Yeah.
He's actually the one who is marginalized now. And it's good to listen, because most of the time people want to say it's not possible, but I think it's good to listen to what is out there and hear their voices. Yeah.
What do you think? Have they been left behind? Before we get to hear the voice of the only man in this panel, who will be talking on behalf of millions of men. So they're all looking at you, by the way, right now. No pressure.
I think there would be no cry if it is not warranted. So it must be warranted, and there must be a reason why there is the cry. So the issue is then to say, why is the cry there, and is it misplaced or misconstrued? Yes, they've been left behind because the society is moving forward with new social arrangements that is shifting the balance of resources, access, representation, and all this, and because predominantly before, this access and resource was in the hands of the men, a lot of it, and therefore when we try to create a more equal society by then saying we need to also give women access, representation, and a say and a voice, then of course those who have been holding unduly more access and more resources, they will want to either hold it back or fight for it, or when it leaves, then they will also make noise. So there's a reason why there is the noise.
Why they're crying.
Yes.
So tell us, why are you crying? Why are you crying?
Well, I personally don't think there is much to do with sidelining per se, but I think the society is focusing on the wrong things at the moment, I can say. Because initially growing up, we remember men being taught by their fathers, and then women being taught by their mothers, and then you were taught the roles that you need to play. But then the boy child, even though we cry that we've been left aside, which is really the truth actually, but then I think we are really negating our role as the head of whatever institution we represent for the family. You find, for example, you are the father in a house, and then you realize you don't want to take care of your kids. You're a deadbeat father. You don't want to be responsible. At the end of the day, it's really imperative for the mother to take over. But so the whole shift comes, I believe, from the fact that the society thinks that there should be an equality, but then truth be told, I'm the only man in this panel. There will never be that kind of equality. What I think should be there is equity, other than equality.
Sebi, what are your thoughts?
Contrary to all, I don't think men have been left behind as much. I think it's the perception that men have been left behind because there's a lot of noise right now, like women empowerment, chama cha mama, all this. I think what I would say about this is that why can't men also come out loud to cry for the chama cha baba, like, or men. I like the whole idea of men conference, by the way. There's a way it gives men some kind of happiness, that they're some kind of voice. You see the way the mamas go to chama. I'm telling you, men are that happy when that time of, even if they don't attend the conference, but this is the perception. You know, the perception shapes a lot of our mind and what we believe in. So I think it's not that men have been left behind as much. It's just that now the noise is a bit overpowering what is there. Men still dominate a lot of things. So it's not the other way around, just that the voice is loud.
And what about such situations whereby women, of course, being abused, or a woman who was murdered by a man becomes a big deal even on social media, Twitter, people will go ham, like Mugure the other day who killed the family, people will go on about it, but when it's a man who's being abused, it's sort of just on the down low, talked about a bit, in fact, very rarely, and that story just dies like that. Why do you,
before she speaks, when a woman is killed, what happens is that it's the societal orientation or expectation of how a man should express themselves. You see, a woman is allowed to cry, to make noise, to shout. They say a woman is a weaker gender. You can do everything. So when a woman is killed, you'll find that more voices are projected because it's coming from women. And by the way, women are superior. So men will tend to join women in fighting for that. When a man is on the receiving end, men tend to back up because they think a man should not cry. Why are you weak? Why would you be killed by a woman? Why? You see, so the whole thing is changing because women are a bit aggressive and they express themselves more when it comes to pain or such things. That's why you realize that femicide is more loud than when the other way around. When a woman is killed, it's even bad than when a man is killed. However, I know men are watching. I want to say that if a man is killed, guys, let's not wait for other women to say a man is killed. Say it yourself. A man is killed, it's wrong because women have realized that nobody is actually fighting for them. They are fighting for their own. So when a woman is killed, and we shall go out there and we'll make noise as much as noise we want. But if men are killed, they don't want. They only want us to make noise for them, which I don't think is there.
They should make noise for themselves.
I think just to add on to that point is just to say that a life is a life. Whether that life is represented by a female body or a male body, whether it's a child or a man or a woman, it's a life. It's a sanctity of life. And therefore, every life should be taken with equal weight. So in fact, when you look at this debate, is that you see that if even in death, there is still the diverse or the extreme views that this is a man or this is a woman. But really it's a life. We should look at it in terms of a life. And this gender debate then, it's just that it inadvertently took on a female face while it should not take on a female face. Because what is gender? Gender is social roles that are ascribed to a man, woman or child within the society. In fact, the crisis we have now is not a crisis of men and women fighting each other. No, it's a crisis of really redefining the gender roles that are actually suitable or that will bring a much more equal, fair and a just society. It is just rearranging the gender roles or redefining them afresh in a way that causes each member of the society, whether a boy or a girl, a man or a woman, to feel that they belong, to feel that they can contribute, and to feel that they have access and that they are dignified and they are of value and they are of worth. But the moment we shift the debate to now it's a debate between men and women, who is more dominant, and becomes an issue of domination and power, we lose track. Because gender conversations are socio-economic development conversations. It's about access to resources. It's about access to create a much more peaceful and a harmonious society. It's about resource distribution, worth and value, and that sense of belonging. It's not an issue of dominance. So do we exterminate women? Do we exterminate men? Do we exterminate children? No, it's really, we create a world whereby every boy and girl who is born today will find a fair world, or an equal world, or a world that will give them an opportunity and equal access to whatever they need to realize their dreams and their potential, and to become resourceful members of society.
Okay, just before we get to you,
Okay, to add on what she's saying, let me start by saying, actually it has been found that it's not possible to acquire gender equality. So now we are focused on equity. Now, and as she's saying, it's very hard for me when I see that a man was beaten, or there's domestic violence and the woman is the perpetrator. In most of these cases, especially if you see this case online, starting even with our leaders, if a man is beaten, what happens? I'm an activist. I'll be there saying domestic violence affects both genders. But you'll see a man laughing with a meme. How can a man be beaten? So it beats my purpose, and it really drains me for me to talk about women. Our voices are out there. I'm still fighting for men. And you're watering down my efforts, and you're not helping me.
I think, for me, I think the problem starts from the way we were brought up. Naturally, men are told to you have to be strong.
You have to be strong.
You fall down. You don't have to cry. You're a man. So, growing up, you find that women can really speak. When we have issues as men, we don't want to talk about it, because the first thing is that not just the men, self-esteem will come in here. What will women say about me? I was beaten by a woman. So what do? We go into our own cocoons. We keep quiet. We start drinking. So the second thing, I think, comes back to the fact that the whole noise is radiating the inner reality of our men. You know, men have just... we were naturally meant to take over the space, naturally, according to perspectives of religion, society, and all that. But then later on, as things crippled in, we find the equality issue, which is actually, as she puts it, is no longer going to looking towards gender. It's looking towards female. So men tends to say, now, we don't have a space to fight. So what do? Let's let them make the noise. But then when they come back home, we will deal with them as the men in the home, you see? So here you find a man clobbering a woman simply because you can make noise outside there, but inside here, I will deal with you see? So that shift has really caused a lot of confusion, I think, even to the boy child watching it.
I was actually yesterday I was picking some brains of a few of my male friends, and actually I asked one of them, and we were talking about house husbands. And the discussion was just because there are men who actually like being house husbands.
Like they enjoy it, it's not a problem.
But that discussion is very controversial. Like nobody will accept if you say this guy stays at home to actually take care of the children. People will ask, is he broke? Amekaliwa? But actually, so these are issues we need to talk about, because it's okay if you're married to your wife and she's okay going to get the bread and you staying at home. Then we need to address these issues. It's because even if your wife is okay and you're okay with staying at home, being a house husband, the society, it's none of your business. But people will talk.
The issue comes there. Because you realize that even the wives, you find very few of them. You know, naturally, if I would send my girlfriend or whoever is in my life 50,000, for example, I will not make much noise about it. But let that girl send me maybe 1,000 credits, and it will be that, when there's an issue, I help you, I always stand with you. So at the end of the day, men do not want to hear that part of it. Like, let me remain home as you go seeking for our daily bread. But again, I read a lot, especially the Bible. Proverbs 31 talks about this woman. And if you look at the issue from the perspective of the Bible, it comes out that the woman is supposed to be the provider. If you look at the description of this kind of virtuous woman, she goes out, she looks for this, she brings this, and the man is supposed to be the protector of the family. But then this is shifting slowly by slowly, because we know very well the moment you go out,
Yeah.
bring the food, and you know, women, all of you here, you can really talk when you meet in your saloons. You will say everything. You know that, man, I do everything. I'm the one. So at the end of the day, tutajikakamua. You see, even if I don't feel like going out, I would wish to be the kind of stay home kind of a husband, but then I won't do that. So some of us even wants to go to town, do nothing, and just come back in the evening. You know, I'm from work.
Au
Because we
wala
know
kukaa
you
pale
say,
Uhuru Park.
wewe umekaa tu hapa wanaume wenzako, and men hates being compared
Compared
to
to
other
that.
men.
But let me ask you, do you think even us women, not thinking about it, like we were also brought up, this is where the issue of socialization comes in.
Yeah.
A man is supposed to take care of you. Like,
He's the one who's supposed to
if
go
my
out and
salary
bring.
wants to buy food, it will buy, but don't assume it's gonna buy. It's hard to change a grown person's perspective. Do you think also, as we were taught, like the men are providers,
Yes.
and also women have an issue? Okay, I'll provide this month, next month, then I'll start thinking,
Getting tired.
oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Go out
you
there
see,
and read a paper huko, utasikia kuna kazi huko. Yeah, so I think
and
there's
most,
a lot
most
of
women, I don't think there's a
Yes.
woman who doesn't like to feel secured, like that security from a man. I'll be okay with taking care of you, you've lost your job, but for how long? For how long can I keep up?
Let me
And
pose a
it's
question
yeah.
on that. Look at it this way. A man is the husband at home, right? The woman comes home with shopping. Would you leave your remote down, go pick things from her, care her, take the bags, yeah, get food? Would you do that? Why is it the other way around, that when a woman is the housewife, when the man comes,
Yeah.
you go care this man, give him hot water or food or blah blah blah? Why can't it be the other way around? If at all you guys want it to be that, can we abandon the social orientation that we've been brought up with, so that it is, you see, if a man is going to do the same role a woman would do, yeah, then I don't think there should be an external pressure that can bring it. All these things, if you look at them, it comes down to an individual. Your perception of life, your value, your self-esteem, you as an individual. There are people who are brought up whereby there was no shouting at all, and they grew up with it. There are people who knows whether a man or a woman, you can do dishes. If daddy comes home, mommy will go for him.
Yeah.
If mommy comes home late, daddy will go for him. So it's all about an individual or your upbringing.
Let me answer this question. You know, some men would say yes, like I would say yes, that I would do that. But again, you know, we tend to think that men are the stronger sex. I don't think that's true. We are the weakest, both emotional. Bring a man here and let the man have cramps for 3 days. Would be dead.
Yeah, because even just a simple
You see?
cold, mnakuanga ni kama homa, ni kama
homa peke yake,
mnakufa.
we are dying. So at the end of the day, I tend to believe that men
Yeah.
have got this inner kind of ego that is basically based on what upbringing of our society. And at the end of the day, the moment you come in with the food, immediately something sets in. I feel intimidated. You see? So I won't stand to go and pick you and go to the
And pick
kitchen.
the things.
But if I would come with that food and go cook it, you know, at the end of the day, you'll feel I'm a man. And every man I know, all you boy children, you know this. You all want to feel like, you know, I'm the provider here.
Yeah.
I take care of my family and everything. So at the end of the day, I would have wished to come and, you know, prepare you, take the shopping, go to the kitchen. But then this inner issue with men, with boy child, you know, at the end of the day, ataniona aje.
I want to
it
bring the
triggers
question.
something else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to bring the perspective of identity, but also and looking at the, as individual, we carry various identities. There is the identity you carry as a person, your awareness of your own identity and your own existence as an individual. And there is a certain value you place on yourself, which is the self-worth. There's a certain way you see yourself, which is self-esteem. There's a certain level of respect and regard you give yourself, which is what we call that self-esteem that you give yourself. The way you see yourself is self-image, and the self-esteem is the regard and the respect you have for yourself. And all this together is really what we call your self-conceptualization, you know, your self-concept. Self-concept is like an architectural blueprint from which you build your life. You build your life from that architectural blueprint called self-concept. So at individual level, if you have conceptualized yourself that the reality on the ground here is that my wife is the one who is working. I don't mind being a house husband. I will fulfill the obligations of picking and dropping the children on time and taking care of the house and keeping it well. Then you're comfortable with it. But there is this other identity, that's the individual identity we just described, what we call collective identity, and social identities that are placed on us, like now the gender roles that come with those social identities. These collective identities is the way you identify yourself with a certain group. So this is a man, a John or David or whoever identifying himself with the rest of the men. And then you say in society, collectively as men, we are not men, we don't cook, we don't go to the kitchen, we don't, you see that is collective identity, But then there is also the extended issues of our identities now, what we are talking about, the socio-economic development issues that is affected by this behavior of individual and collective identity that eventually causes an entire group called women to be disenfranchised. And because of that disenfranchisement, then countries, nations, and the world is lagging behind in terms of socio-economic development. Because when you don't have enough women able to access education, access healthcare, access means of livelihood, access economic empowerment, the development of a nation is curtailed. When we don't have enough women who are involved in primary healthcare and nurturing and caring, and they are not educated in terms of nutrition, and they're the ones making decisions of what should be maybe eaten at home and all that, the whole society becomes unhealthy. So this conversation should really shift away from this pulling and tagging to now to be elevated to a point whereby I have a contribution to make to myself, to the community, and the society, and the world. And the way to make it is for me to readjust. Today we know that more than 65% of sub-Saharan African households, they are female-headed. That is a reality on the ground. So however a man wants to stamp his chest and say, I'm the one who is a provider here, and therefore, the reality on the ground is that there are so many female-headed homes. And then the reality is that because of career, economic progression, education, technology, then of course global movement and portable careers and all that kind of internationalism and globalization, because of career, by 2050, most families will be single-parent families because of different career goals. And others will be blended families. We will have more blended families and single-parent families than what we are talking as, and I put quote-unquote, ideal family. So let's look at what the reality on the ground and say, how can we create a functioning society where every individual feel included, feel they have a fair chance to excel and to survive and to make a contribution to themselves, their community, and their planet, and they can realize their potential. Yes.
Okay, you want to say something?
Anyway, I wish and I prayed that we don't get there. Because at the end of the day,
We don't get to inclusion and
no, in inclusivity, I don't have a problem. But I'm talking about this state where we have a society that is mostly headed by one kind of gender. I would wish that we have a society that, we like it or not, there are certain jobs that I'm sure if we would give to the female gender, they would not like them. But then we would readily go for it. And at the end of the day, you'd realize that men wants to feel a sense of, I'm working hard for them. So even though we want to say, okay, let's have this equal setup where men and women are working together, equally supporting the family, it ends towards making the men, at the end of the day, feel inferior. Because a man feels stronger. Like, let's just be honest. Let me pose this question to all of you. Growing up as young girls, who would you choose first? The man who appears to have everything and will take care of you, or this other guy who is just there and depending on you?
Just hold that question there. We'll answer it after the break because you need to take a short commercial break. We'll come back and tell you as we were growing up. Guys, remember the hashtag is KTN Life and Style. You can hashtag the cry of the boy child. Boy child, tuambieni, like, are we leaving you behind? Is there a point where we'll just all be equal? Because now we have a lot of single dads and staying at home dads, and then the women were the ones basically taking over. Anyways, we need to take a short commercial break, but do not touch that dial. Do not go anywhere because tuko hapa and it's heated. It's heated. Don't move.